We first met on Christian-filipina. We knew we were right for each other.
We are enjoying each other's company. He is a perfect man for me.
We had a lot of commonality in belief and practice. The kind of lady that I wanted.
Finally, God gave it to me.
Welcome everybody, this is Lori from Christian-Filipina online dating site, the Philippines' best Christian site chosen by more singles. And I am Lori Abella, your host, a soulmate manifesting coach. And we are here for the success story of Christian-Filipina members before Mark and Leia McFadden. So we're going to talk about Philippine dating. So welcome Mark and Leia.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So
welcome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in Arlington, Texas. We first met on Christian-filipina in about March of 2010. And she was in Saudi Arabia. I'm living here. And we talked via Yahoo Instant Messenger video call. And we knew we were right for each other. So I went to the Philippines in May of 2011. And we planned the wedding via the video with before I even came. Now, early on when I met her, I visited some of her relatives in East Texas. And that way I could get to know more about her early in the game. So she's got relatives in America that I got to meet first. So it told me a lot about her, and they also got to know me and report back to Leia what I'm like. And then after that, she was legitimate. And as we continued to talk, and I finally got to the Philippines in May for 3 weeks. We had our wedding, May 21st, married her out there. And then we continued talking. Immigration process took over a year. And then we got here. She got her here September 21 of 2012.
I was working there as an embroiderer. And then I was there since 2002. And when my sister came to Saudi also, because I requested
Which sister?
My sister Divina, who is also a member of Christian-Filipina, she told me about Christian-Filipina, and then she asked me if I am a member of Christian-Filipina, and I said no, I'm not. I didn't know about that site. So she introduced that to me, and then when I signed in after maybe a week, and I got the message from him. Wow. And when I saw him, I said maybe this is God's will for me. It looks like he is a perfect man for me because he is single and never been married. And then so I prayed about it, and at first it was just like he is interested, but seems like not interested. But finally, maybe after 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months that he finally come to his senses and continue to communicate with me. So I know that this is God's will for me. So I stayed in Saudi for 10 years. Oh no, not yet. 9 years and 2 months. And then I went home, and we planned the wedding before I even met him. So when I go back to the Philippines, everything is ready, and everything is set. So I cannot say no anymore. So finally, we get married May 21 of 2011.
So Mark, I was wondering, have you ever met Filipinos before in your area in Texas?
Well, we have one at my church, Trinity Baptist in Arlington. Her name is Her name is Miss V Green, is who we call her. She's a Filipino. She'd been at that church more than 15 years. That's the only Filipino I really knew. And then there's a half Filipino. I believe her name was Jennifer. And that's about as far as any Filipino contact. That's who all I really knew. It really wasn't until January of 2010 that I got active in looking for a wife. Now I know my preacher, Pastor Smith, years ago told me, it says, well, maybe you ought to look to Asia or maybe Philippines to see if you can get you a good wife. He told me that in about 2004,
Wow.
and I didn't really take it up until the beginning of 2010. So he was encouraging me to do it.
Okay. And so how did you find Christian-Filipina anyway?
It was from I think I was going through a site. And you see, at first I tried Christian Singles Registry, which was by Larry McIntyre, and that's where where you would write, where the girls would write you if they're interested. And I was not impressed with the girls that he was sending me, but I really didn't know anything about the Philippines hardly at the time. And so I did some research on the Philippines, and then there was a site called Living in the Philippines written by an expat American, and there was an ad on there by christian-filipina.com, and that's when I clicked on it and went over to christian-filipina.com. One of the key features that really got me interested in christian-filipina.com is the fact that in the power search, I wanted to get a Baptist lady to marry, not a Catholic or anything, and you could narrow it down to where you're searching only for Baptists. And at that time, there were only 62 of them that were listed as Baptists.
Wow.
So, whereas Larry and them and the other sites, you couldn't do that. You just got whoever they sent you, whether they be Catholic or whatever, when I wanted a Baptist. And so when I was able to filter it out, it narrowed down my search. And then that's when I looked through Christian Filipina. And actually, Leia's, she had a conservative picture. It was the first one that I marked down, and then I went through about 8 or 10 others or whatever to look at and started communicating with a few of them.
Can you describe to us the typical Philippine dating style, for everybody? Because a lot of people who are followers of Christian Filipina doesn't even know what's the typical Philippine dating style. Like, it's different from the American dating style.
Yeah. That's going to be a hard one to explain since we did it through online. I know that I read the profiles just to kind of learn something about the girls. What I wanted was a good conservative Christian girl. So I looked at their profile pictures, and if they were really dressing sexy or suggestive or whatever, maybe they wore pants or whatever. I mean, it's just that I could tell a lot in part by looking at their pictures. I mean, the way they dress, how they wear, and how they look, how they wear their hair, or the setting that they take their pictures in. So if they kind of look more, if they were too liberal. So pictures, I mean, make sure that you represent yourself accurately in your profile and in your pictures. And that when I go looking on Facebook, it better be more consistent with the image that you're bringing across. Because if we catch you in a lie, then you're gone. So it's just, I think honesty is the key word if you're going to be doing any kind of dating, whether it be online dating or in person. because I mean, in honesty in your picture or your profile, just know what you are looking for.
Leia, I understand you came from Saudi, so it's much more conservative over there. So have you
Oh
come
yeah.
across men who are interested with you? Because I think you have to be all covered.
Yes, that's right. Um, Actually, we are just staying inside the house. So we just go out once a month for our groceries and to buy our food and things that we need. And then every time we go out, we are wearing this what we call the abaya, the black one,
Like
and
like
covering ourselves.
like a burqa, I think it
Yeah,
is.
and also our employer like that. And um, it is really very hard to find somebody there in Saudi. You know, you can find a lot of Filipinos there, but they are more than liars. Filipinos in Saudi were really very, they are pretending to be single, but yet they are all married in the Philippines.
Oh wow.
And so it's really very hard, and you cannot see each other there. You just call through phone, and that's all you can do that. But I was not really expecting anything that in my stay in Saudi. I was not really expecting anymore that I will get married. So for my whole stay there, um, I was praying, of course, I was praying, but um, I know that if it is God's will, I know that there is really a way. So that's the time that my sister, when she came to Saudi, she introduced the Christian-Filipina. I also um, been through a lot of sites like Filipina Heart, like but you know that site is just like maybe 30 days, only 30 days membership, and after that you need to be a paid member. And not like Christian Filipina, you have so much time. You have, I guess, 999 days or 1,000.
Long as one of the members is paid, you can have
Yeah, but
unlimited with that member.
and then so it was really good. But then the time that I started it, it's only how many months, and then I find him.
We had a lot of commonality in belief and practice. So that was one of the main things, whether you'd be a Filipino or another nationality.
You have already relatives over here in Texas, Leia. So adjusting is not really difficult for you, right?
Yeah, no. I've been away from my family for many years, so um, I just feel okay to be. I didn't feel homesick, and I am also visiting my relatives. I have relatives here in Texas, and then at the same time, I have some other relatives in Chicago, and I have a lot of friends here in America already. Me and Michael, we really don't have really a lot of issues. Like we really get along, and we are enjoying each other's company. And
Including the cat.
Have you learned how to eat the Filipino food already?
Well, I'm learning. I mean, I ate some in the Philippines, and then she makes it here. But she's learning to make some American food too. She's actually a pretty good cook,
Wow.
and so she's doing pretty good here. Yeah, it's I know just a funny thing about meeting on Christian Filipina. Kind of funny that her sister, who introduced her to it, still hasn't found her match yet.
Oh my God. That's very interesting.
yeah,
You're ahead of the game.
maybe, yeah, maybe God didn't give her another one yet.
What do you think about the close family ties? You know, we were all talking about Leia's family. Like, do you have a big family as well, Michael?
No, I don't. I'm just about the opposite. I don't have much at all in family ties. My natural family, they're not Christians, but they just well, they didn't really like kids, and yet they had five of them, but we don't really I just don't have that many relatives that I communicate with. There are not too many left, and so we're just really not close. We never were in my natural family. I have a step family in California. We're a lot closer to them than my natural one. Whereas, so it's kind of the opposite. Whereas she has an extended family where she's got cousins, second cousins, maybe third cousins, and grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, whatever, and she knows 200 plus, and she knows the names of practically every one of them and where they live. And so, I mean, it's definitely a different thing to me. We bought a house in the Philippines, so if we move out there, we'll have plenty of relatives to entertain us. We had a lot of them at the wedding, too. It was almost like a big family reunion for the ones that live in the Philippines. There are close to 200 of them there at the wedding.
So how did you feel, like, going to the Philippines, meeting all of these people who are instant relatives?
Well, I guess it's a surprise.
Surprise!
I guess. I get the so that it's different to me. Philippines, it's almost the opposite. It's kind of the way it was
Yeah.
80, 90 years ago,
Yeah.
before America pulled away and got a lot more secularized.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the differences I saw. And I mean, it's actually, to be honest with you, the Philippines appears to be a much freer country than America at this point. I probably would rather live over there than live here,
Yeah.
but that'll happen in the future, God willing, when I'm ready.
I promised to myself that I will not marry a person outside our faith. So I really asked and really prayed for that, and I waited for more than 10 years.
I mean, it's
Because my first husband died 1999, and I waited for more than 10 years.
about
More than
11 and
10
a
years,
half.
yeah.
I mean, then you got saved when you're 13 in the youth
13.
revivals. You went hard headed for a while, and now after the death of that first one, I guess that's when you decided not to be hard headed anymore and follow Daddy's values, and
Yeah.
they might marry only a Baptist and a conservative man, and so.
I'm not really looking for a conservative man,
But a godly
but a
man.
godly man.
That's what I
Yeah,
meant to say.
a person that loves God above all, and who is really faithful in the ministry. So finally, God gave it to me.
Yeah, you got Michael.
In christian-filipina, like people there were a bit kind of because maybe knowing that it's a Christian site,
Yeah.
people there were more on serious people, and they are really there for to find a mate,
Uh-huh.
somebody.
Yeah. So, would you recommend Christian Filipina to your friends?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I already recommended a lot. Yeah, I have my sister were there, my cousins were there.
Oh, wow.
They can't
Everybody.
seem to find a mate.
But you know, the problem with them is that they are not really more on computers, because of course some are didn't they're afraid to talk because they don't really know how to speak English like
Okay.
that.
It's also, I mean, it's I guess on Christian Filipino, it helps for the Filipinos to talk English. I know I don't know Tagalog or Ilonggo or whatever. I mean, it's just if you wanna get an American, it's good to know English and speak it well enough to where you understand them.
This is Lori, your soulmate manifesting coach, and on behalf of Christian Filipina, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.